I'm Andrew Davis. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer at TippingPoint Labs. My job is basically to help my clients find answers to those three main questions. And so that's what I do. We have a team of people that do all sorts of other stuff for clients, like create content and help with measuring their content effectiveness and technology and all sorts of other cool things. But that's my job. You can find me online at all sorts of places. I don't know if you guys, we're talking about personal branding. This is flavors.me. You can check that out, but it's like a business card, an online business card. This is all the places I'm online. Actually, no, correct that. These are all the places I can remember the passwords for that I'm online. So if you want to find me, you can find me there. The other day, I found a new one of these. Oh, that's where you can find me, flavors.me/tpldrew. I found a new one. This is about.me/tpldrew. All right, so that's me. I also use Prezi. You guys have seen a lot of Prezi. I'll just do my quick demo because people like it, not because I think you'll learn much. So I used to work at the Jim Henson Company, which is why I really like Nimble. I was the production manager there for a couple of years. There he is.
I like you too.
Hey, nice. So this is my demo using some of my favorite characters. So in Prezi, as you've seen today already, you can zoom in nicely like that and frame a shot. So it's like an infinite landscape, and you can just build and build and build, which is why, as a person with ADD, it's perfect. Like I just keep going forever. But that's one thing. You could zoom in even further. Grover is my favorite character from Sesame Street, always has been. I think he's awesome. See, a couple Grover fans in the house, there always are. You can do spin moves to a wonderful statement like this, and then you can spin back and say, you're back at Grover. And then if you were Grover on Sesame Street, you would do this kind of thing. Near, far. Near, far. So that's the whole reason I use Prezi, just to do that kind of thing. All right, so before we get started, I have a side note. Can you see that? That's funny. I have a side note. I am going to give away 3 of my books today, 3 of them, to, I don't know who yet. I haven't really figured out a cool game or anything, but I figure it's like dating. You'll know it when you see it. Then you'll just give out the book at that point. When I say my books, I should clarify, these are books I own, not books I wrote. So I just figured it would add to my credibility if I was giving away a book. But there is a reason. David Meerman Scott is the author of this book, and he actually, over a couple of pages in the book, talked about one of our core concepts at the TippingPoint Labs called the new media life cycle, and he took it down from my big concept to something everybody else could understand. So it's worth reading, and I hope you enjoy it if you get the book. Okay. All right, so let's get started. I don't have that much time, and now I have like 83 slides left. All right, we're going to talk about the marketing landscape. You've heard a ton about content marketing today. I have a ton to add, but no time to add it, so I figured I'd talk about something completely irrelevant, and that might help. So I'm going to talk about the marketing landscape as I see it, and I think it's just a big, giant kind of agency turf war. Having been at my company for 10 years and really stressed out about who are my competitors, I realized I couldn't figure out who the hell they were because everywhere I went, everyone said they did what I did. Started to get really pissed off, and I made a chart to show how angry I was. So this is how I see it, and it's not a Venn diagram, but it did start that way. And then it got out of hand. So there are 3 main pieces the way I see it. Can you guys see those all right? Kind of. That's that blue on blue, talented, Drew. I am not a designer. But there's this big piece of public relations, right? Earned media. People call it earned media. They have for a long time. They sell great access, great stories. They always have. It's been a great part of their business. And I'm a big fan of public relations and public relations agencies. Some of our clients have really wonderful relationships with them. And we've learned to work with public relations companies in a wonderful way. So, when it comes to the turf war, these guys are friendly, I guess? I don't know. Then we have the paid realm, right? This is just traditional advertising. But paid advertising is, what most traditional CMOs at large organizations are focused on. Bill was talking earlier about the AdSense addiction or whatever it was. Yeah, exactly. Like it's Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. Just you can sound cool as long as you use like as much alliteration as possible. That's my method. Power of participation creation, like that kind of thing. Okay, so paid advertising, right? These guys are very focused on campaign creative. They create awesome campaigns, they execute it, and they measure everything with volume metrics. How many people saw it? Large volume. I want to get a ton of people watching this or seeing it, or Super Bowl. Damn it, get me more people. That's how they work. Then on this side, we have content creators. And this is everybody from like the independent photographer that comes in and shoots your catalog photography to a huge agency that just focuses on live webinars. I don't know. But it's everything. It's independent writers, guys who do your white papers, ebooks. It's internal people, outside people. This is a huge bucket, and it's immense, the opportunities that are here and the agencies that are here. So there's lots of great content being created. And in the middle of this, where these overlap, I started to see these parallels, and this is why people start to get really worked up about you're taking my client. So as soon as we start working with a PR agency and we say, hey, we have some ideas for blogger outreach, or we want to invite some bloggers to work with us in creating content for the client, the PR agency says, no, sharing, that's our game. That's our game. Get out. Go play on a different court. That's how PR agencies treat that kind of interaction. As soon as you get down to creation of content, that's when the ad agencies put up their hands and say, no. If we're going to create a video that has anything to do with the core concept of our ad campaign, we're going to do it, and we'll charge 5,000 times the amount you would want to charge because we're creative. Yeah, you're paying for this, buddy. That's what happens there, right? And then on the other side, you have engage. So content creators, they want to go out and get good interviews. They want to talk to people. They want to learn. They want to interact. They want to create great experiences that have a lot of perspectives and really good insight, interviews with people. And so as soon as you start engaging with those people, you're back at the pissed off PR people who say, no, please don't talk to them. No, they're on like our shit list. One time I called them, pitched them a pissy-ass story that just had stats in it, no story. I feel really bad. Please do not do that again. This is what happens to me constantly. And it's really, really frustrating as a content creator and someone who's just trying to make their clients' stuff better. So then you have these new agencies popping up everywhere. There's, on the top level, you have, well, these guys have been around for a while, digital agencies, right? We create the microsites. Oh, you can't add content like that. We didn't plan for it. Platform developers, they execute the campaigns sometimes for pay-per-click and stuff and AdSense and SEO. Oh, shit, that content doesn't have enough SEO keywords in it. It's never going to work. Hey, Jesus, kid, you better fix that content. That content's shit. Then you get to social media. Then you have these new guys showed up, and they're like, oh, we'll do all your Facebook stuff, and we'll write all your Facebook stuff. And those content creator guys, they don't know what they're doing on Facebook, and we'll fix it. So again, more and more turf wars. And this chart, I have a bigger, more complicated version of that, but that one takes 9.5 hours to get through, and Russell would not give me the time, even though I asked. So, I've got a picture of that. Sorry. Did you get that? All right. Okay, we're good. No water in the conference room. All right. So that's how I see the marketing landscape. Any questions about the marketing landscape? No, good, we're moving on. I really want to talk about what I call CMO Pizza. And when I was a kid, we used to, after every swim meet, go to Pizza Hut. And all the kids would come to Pizza Hut. We were standing in line one day, and there's this woman in front of us. She was by herself. She ordered a Diet Coke and a large pizza. We're like, oh, okay. The guy comes back. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. Would you like that cut into 8 slices or 10? And she's like, 8. I could never eat 10. Like, as a 13-year-old, I was like, what? Are you serious? And this is what's happened with every chief marketing officer or marketing person or anyone who's trying to do marketing today, right? You have, in the old days, had this kind of pizza to deal with, right? You had a 3-slice pizza. It was real easy to understand, and you said, hey, you know what? This slice goes to the ad agency. Those guys are creative. This slice buys a lot of media to get that creative to the people. And then I'll hire a PR agency, and they'll tell people through other stories and other journalists, our great story that's backed up by this awesome creative and this huge media buy. Yeah. I will cash my fat-ass check and go home. That's how CMOs worked in the past. This is how CMOs are screwed today. They have this 8-slice pie minimum to deal with, and they have no idea how any of them overlap if they do, and they're just stressed out about their SEO, their keywords, their pay-per-click, their AdWords, their digital stuff, and then their ad creative they're still paying out the wazoo for because that's what they knew, right? That's okay. I don't have any problem with this pie, but I wondered, when going into the agencies, where the hell is the content slice of this pie? I need to walk in somewhere and say, guys, you need some content. And the CMO goes down his budget, and he's like, I have pay-per-click, I have the AdSense thingy, I like that. I like the big buy. I like that magazine thing, and golf magazine is awesome. I don't know about the SEO, but I pay for it because the tech guy likes it. There's no content line. There's no content line. Where do I find the money for content? If I'm a marketer, how do I find the money for content? I think content is like the basil. I think it's basil on this pizza, or spinach. You're paying all these people to create content, but they're not working together on it. It's held in different places. So it's all for different purposes. There's some SEO content that's got the keyword 5,000 times, but still doesn't make sense. Then you got some, awesome creative that's on television, but there's no behind the scenes of that video created online. No one worked together to figure out how all this content could actually be way more powerful if you figured out how to really get it into the marketplace in an organized way. You need one central way to conceive of your content campaigns. One. And that will make you unbelievably effective in the marketplace. And if you think of content instead of this giant disaster of a process, you think of it as something of value. This is what happened. When I first started in this business, we used to build websites. And we would sit down with someone. I read a lot about how to build a website at the time. I sat down with people, and we would go through this process. We need to map your information architecture, and then we're going to put the pages together, and we need to know where you want the pages and how the navigation to work. And then when we get through that, I'm going to do some wireframes, and the wireframes are going to help you understand exactly where the content might apply. Then we're going to move on to the next step, where I will show you some lorem ipsum shit on a page so you can figure out what the hell is on that page. That's a load of crap. I used to do this for clients, and they'd say, what's the lorem ipsum? I'd say, well, in the 4th century, Latin came up with. It's actually a passage from Dante's Inferno, I think. And then you got your technical guys going, SEO, and I'm going to code this with meta tags at the wazoo. And let me show you what I'm going to do. I don't really care. And then somebody says, oh, where's the content? Hey, didn't we hire Lyle, that intern? He was going to work on the new About page. Where the hell is Lyle? That's where Lyle is. And you got this website with no content. This is completely backwards, people. Absolutely backwards. Look, thank you, Russell. I appreciate it. Russell, you can have the book now, because you started the clapping. See, I knew I would know it when I saw it. It was the clapping always gets a book, I guess. Clapping. Okay, so I relook at this chart today, and I think the only thing we all have in common when it comes to share, engage, and create is this deep desire for unbelievable content. That is it. And if we all just started to work together, can't we all just get along, people? And actually just try to figure out what kind of content is the PR agency creating? How can I leverage that in what I'm doing? This advertising creative is awesome, but if they're going to charge $5 million for the behind-the-scenes video, I got some better ideas. Why don't we do something like Ford did and bring in some guys who are passionate about their brand, who want to document the making of the next commercial, and then share that stuff online so that we have some content that can be created dynamically, intriguing way with new people interacting with it. What can the social media agency leverage out of that relationship? This is what I want to see in the future, instead of just arguing about who the hell gets to be in charge of the content and they shepherd it down the road. So when you're thinking of building your new website, I want you to think of what content do you want on your website first? What are you going to focus on? How are you going to engage customers from the very beginning to the very end of the process? And then worry about what the hell page it's on. You can change what page it's on in about 7 minutes if you're using something decent as a content management tool. Don't stress about it. You can change it from about to about us in about 6 seconds. Don't have an argument about whether it should be about or about us. Let your consumer decide and figure out if the content works first, people. I'm getting fired up. Shit. Okay. Content first. That's the rule. I don't care. And just start creating it now and put that shit out. Like, stop worrying about if you're doing it right and who it's for, and just start doing stuff, okay? Put some content out there. I'm going to show you 2 completely different ways that I think content is evolving, and ones that I think are representative of how CMOs in the future will think, okay? How their pies will come together, if I might. I just like to say pie. Okay, this summer I opened up the New York Times. Yes, the print edition, which is why no one else saw this. So I look like a genius because I get the print edition. No, I think there's still a future for newspapers if they could reinvent their print product. This shit hasn't changed since Pulitzer started the afternoon edition of a newspaper. Like, change this. Okay, that's a different diatribe. Anyway, I open it up. There's a giant insert called "This is Canada." The first thing I want you to do is take cognitive note that this is a print product, people. This was in print. This looks like a web page. There are links. It's print, people. I cannot hit the great deals link. I cannot hit it. I just want you to be aware. But visually, cognitively, I start thinking differently about this content. Immediately, I think, I can take action on this. Passive action. I could say, what is a great deal? I need to engage with this in order to learn that because I cannot click the freaking link. This is interesting. A visual paradigm shift where all of a sudden valuable print content looks like an online interaction. That's number 1. Scroll down the page. This looks like Flickr. This is photo sharing. These guys, This is Canada, the Canadian Board of Tourism, decided to get as many unbelievable photographs together as they could from already existing sources and some of their own to create a campaign online, on a print edition that looks like it's online. It has 312 ratings. Ratings of what? From where? I don't know, but that's the point. There is an implied value to those ratings because I see it in print and think, a lot of people like these pictures. I should take some time and look at the pictures. This is smart. This is your content working together. This is a paid advertisement. Bank people. Did you guys just pass out? You guys okay? All right. That's what this is. But it looks like content generated by a lot of people, and it is. All right, so take an architectural tour of Montreal. De Montreal, means of, I think. I use the context clues. But it's got 629 ratings. I got the ability to hit a QR code. Does everybody, if you do not know what a QR code is, raise your hand now. Faster, people. Okay. You can basically take a cell phone. This is why this works in print. You have to have a printed product for an action code to really work, I think. So in this day and age, you can take your cell phone. I'm looking at the New York Times. I'm like, what the hell? I can go watch this video. They keep telling me this video is awesome. It's got a lot of ratings. Let me watch the video right now. So I scan the QR code on my little iPhone, and what do I get? I get to take an architectural tour. Now I'm interacting with what was a print product, and the content was generated first online. The assets were online assets that I then went to YouTube. I read their little thing, went to YouTube, and found myself taking an architectural tour. This video is actually about a company called Bixie Bike, where you can just take a bike ride and it's like Zipcar for bikes, basically. I was going to try to explain it, but if you don't know what Zipcar is, have a beer with me. I'll try to explain. But that's awesome. That was online content, working with the ad agency. This got huge PR. I don't know if anyone in the PR world saw it. Maybe just in Canada. So maybe the Canadian folks saw it. All right, some people saw it. All right, so I got to wrap up. But anyway, you can fly to Montreal, and I have one more that I'll go through very fast. But these are the online assets. Don't get dizzy. Stick with me. That was the This is Canada campaign. I'll do this one very rapidly. But this is the complete opposite end of the spectrum. This is, anybody, raise your hand if you watched America, the Story of Us on the History Channel. Okay, a couple people, perfect. All right, America, the Story of Us was a 12-part series over 6 nights about the making of America from an economic standpoint. Unbelievable, really amazing concept that was executed phenomenally. And I'm just going to let this play. but it's cinematically amazing. Really, really wonderful content. And you can, I'll just voice it over, with the VO. Okay. That was sign language because I guess you can't hear behind the glass. I don't know where I got that. Okay. Anyway, this was underwritten by Bank of America. Underwritten by a bank. A show on the History Channel about the the economic evolution of the United States. That is content marketing at its best. In the future, you will turn on television channels run by Home Depot and Lowe's. They will be two different channels. They exist today. You can go to HGTV. That's the Home Depot channel. That's like, get out a sledgehammer, knock down an effing wall, and call this a renovation. You go to the DIY network, it's soft music and helpful, just like Lowe's. That's what it will be in the future. So the Bank of America Heritage Center, this is America's story. This is their microsite. This is working in tandem with History Channel to produce great programming, and you can't even tell when there's a commercial. It was unbelievably executed with this just amazing Bank of America logo, and all of a sudden the same people from the show were talking about economic development of monumental things in our nation's history, and it ends with them telling you that that bank, whatever bank it was after the San Francisco fire, the bank that was started, is now part of Bank of America. I get chills when I hear that. I am now a Bank of America customer. That to me sounds like stability. They took this all the way, I mentioned Foursquare at the beginning, and this is my lame-ass attempt at trying to go full circle. But Foursquare took that content, the core of that content, and created history tips all over the United States that related to that are brought to you by Bank of America. So you can check in somewhere, you get a pop-up basically about where you are. It's really well done, and it's content that existed only because they made a TV show. They started with the content, not this idea to make a microsite about the heritage of America and then figure out how to design it and all that crap. No, they created a TV show. I want you to think like that. What's your TV show? Michael, if you're gonna start brewing beer on this island, I want to see a effing TV show concept from you by next week. Like, that's what I want. Done. All right, good. So that's me, and I'm out of here.